Black Politics, Chapter 3, read by author Rashida Brown. As usual, excuse me if I stumble on my words, I stutter, if I mix up anything. I hope you enjoy. Chapter 3. I don't think I can do this, Adara said, gripping Abaddon's hand as they walked into Midtown Hospital. You got this, babe. And remember, I'm right outside the room if you need me, Abaddon said. Stopping at the waiting room, he kissed Adara's hand and watched her go down the hall. 222, 223, 224. Adara counted the room numbers as she approached her mother's room. 225. Okay, this is it. Adara tried gathering her thoughts, standing in front of the door thinking about what she would say or what was so urgent that her mom had to see her now. She took a deep breath, turning her attention back to Abaddon, who's still standing down the hall waiting for her to go in. He signals her to go in, but she couldn't get her right or left leg to move. Just as she was about to turn away, the door came flying open. Standing there was a skinny, blue-eyed Caucasian woman in black scrubs carrying a tray. You here to see Miss Mary? The kitchen staff asked, standing there holding the door open. Adara, is that you? Mary yelled out from the room. Adara knew it was too late to turn around now. She nodded her head at the cook and walked into the room. She slowly walked over to her mother, dragging one foot behind the other, with her shoulders dropped down and her head hung low. Her mother, Mary, was there. She has not seen or talked to her in 20 years. She didn't have much memory of her mother other than pictures and stories from her grandparents. Her mother looked nothing like those pictures now. The drugs have destroyed her flesh. She was cocoa puff chocolate with scars and bruises on both her arms and face. She had dark marks under her baggy brown eyes. Yet she still had a long, beautiful black thick fro like Adara. Adara stood there trying to find a piece of her in her mother, but the fro was the only thing they had in common now. Come, Mary said, letting out a loud, dry cough. Come sit down, baby, Mary said, wiping her mouth with a handkerchief. Adara sat in the chair beside the bed. I know I caught you off guard with me calling you out of the blue, and now having you to meet me here like this, Mary said, struggling to sit up in the bed. Adara stared at Mary while she continued to speak. I know I have a lot of explaining to do, and I hope you will allow me the chance to do so. I never stopped loving you, and when I gave you to your grandparents, I was doing what was best for you at that time. But unfortunately, I was addicted to drugs, and the way I was living was not fit for a child or anybody, Mary said. Well, why didn't you stop for me? Adara wanted to ask, but she couldn't find the courage to say it. It was like her body was off. Her legs didn't know how to move, and now her mouth was glued shut. It's a lot I want to say, but in a better setting. Besides, I called you here for something else. I hope that's okay, Mary said. Adara nodded her head. I called you here because I need a favor, and I know this might be a little too early to ask for one. I do not have anybody else to ask. Is this why she called me here? So she didn't call me because she wanted to reconnect with me. It's because she needed something from me. I should have known better than to think otherwise, Adara thought to herself. Adara still didn't say a word, but continued to listen to Mary. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm sick, and I have been homeless for a while now. Adara might have had trouble opening her mouth, but her facial expression said everything, with one eyebrow tilted and the other one hanging low. I know what you're thinking, but I'm clean and have been for 5 years now. If I did not have your brother and sisters to think about, I would not be asking for your help, Mary said. Wait, brothers and sisters, Adara said, no longer able to hold her tongue. Yes, I have 3 other children. Wow. So is that why you called me the other night, because you needed my help? Adara asked, standing to her feet. Adara, please sit back down. Let me explain, Mary pleaded, pointing to the chair. I'm good, I'll stand, Adara said with her arms folded. I know this looks and sounds bad, but it's not what it looks like. I have tried to get in contact with you for years. I respected my parents' wishes not to contact you, Mary explained. Why would they stop you from seeing me? Adara asked. They were just trying to protect you from getting hurt. I was young, dumb, and wild, and they wanted me to have stability. This is too much to drop on a person at one time. I don't know what to think or believe. We can talk about all of this when you get out of here. So how long are you going to be in here? Adara asked, sitting back down. I'm not sure, baby. They got to run more tests and figure out what's going on. But I promise I will pay you for everything, Mary said. I'm not worried about that. What's their names and ages? Adara asked. You have Trinity, who's 13, Marcus, who's 15, and Shelby, the youngest. She's 6. They know about you and have been asking to meet you, Mary said, handing a picture to Adara. Where are they now? Adara asked, looking at the sight of her siblings. So much was running through her mind. But right now, all she's worried about was the safety of her siblings. They're at our cousin Kim's. That's who we were staying with, but her husband wants us gone, so she told me today that when I get out of here, I have to be gone. Well, write down the address, call her, and tell her I'm coming to get them. Tell her to have them and your things ready, Adara said, standing to her feet. Are you sure it's okay? Mary asked. Yes, write it down and I'll go get them, Adara finished. Adara finished her visit with her mother and left the hospital. She explained everything to Abaddon on the way to pick them up. They went in Abaddon's truck because Adara's car was too small to fit them and their belongings. They pulled in the driveway of Kim's house, and her siblings were sitting on the porch with their bags. Marcus was slumped over with his head buried in his lap. He's a tall, slimly built, brown-eyed, dark chocolate boy with dark brown braids that reached the back of his ear. Trinity wasn't as tall as him. She's a short, thin, fair-skinned, brown-eyed girl with plaits that touched her back. Shelby had tight brown eyes with a short, sandy brown fro. She had dimples on both sides of her cheeks. She was a short, chubby, beautiful girl. Adara and Abaddon got out of the truck to help them load their bags in the truck. Adara paused for a moment, looking at her siblings, who were sitting on the porch with filthy clothes and a foul smell. Adara turned away quickly, catching the tear from falling down her face. Are you here to get us? Shelby asked, looking up at Adara with such innocence in her eyes. Yes, I am, Adara said, kneeling in front of her. What's your name? Shelby said. Adara looked at Marcus and Trinity, who paid her no mind. My name is Adara. I'm your sister, Adara said, taking Shelby's hand. Before Shelby could say anything else, Marcus interrupted. Yeah, right. We don't have any other sisters. We all we got right here, he said, shifting his body in the opposite direction of Adara. Look, I'm sorry that you had to go through all of this, but I'm here to help, Adara said. Help? Like everyone else? Huh? Well, we don't want your help. Can we just get this over with and save the small talk? Marcus said, brushing past Adara. Trinity and Shelby were still sitting on the porch with their bags. Let's go, Marcus yelled. The girls quickly jumped to their feet, grabbing their bags, following Marcus. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Better be careful with them, a tall, heavy-set, fair-skinned man said, slamming the door. Adara looked at Abaddon. Abaddon put his arms around Adara's shoulder. Come on. It'll be all right. Just give them time. Abaddon encouraged. The ride to Adara's house was quiet. Nobody said much of anything. A few days have gone by, and today is Sunday when Adara and Abaddon must meet with Mike's friend. Adara, Amina, and Abaddon all rode in the same car to the meeting. They set out some snacks and refreshments before others arrived. All three of them sit on one side of the table with Abaddon in the middle, waiting on Mike and his friends to show up. There they go, Abaddon said, pointing in their direction. Everyone greeted each other and took their seats. Mike introduced his friends to Adara and the others and introduced them to his friends. So thank you all for coming and meeting with us today. I'm sure Mike has told you all that this organization is about. Adara began as everyone nodded their heads and smiled. Here we focus on political, social, economic, environmental, and so on problems for African descent people and other minorities. Our goals are to provide them with the same opportunities, education, rights, and treatment as the majority. I'm sure we're all aware that black and brown people don't get the same treatment as the majority. So here we're going to do everything within our power to make it happen at all costs, Adara said, looking around the table. There's no limit to what we will do for ours. We're not sitting around begging anybody to see and hear us anymore. We are bringing it straight to their door, and what follows that, we will be prepared for. So if that's going to be a problem for anybody, I understand, but please say so now, Adara said. No problem here, Akita responded. Count me in, said Ahmad. I'm in, Rosa said. Everyone looked at the TFAC group, which was a group of 5 Europeans. Will it be a problem for all of you because this group is not focusing on your ethnic group problems? I understand if it is, Abaddon asked. The leader of the group looked at his group members. Look, we're all aware of what's going on and understand why a group like this is important. It's many groups out there and resources for our people. We see no color and have no problem with what you're doing. When Mike told us about this organization, we knew we had to be a part of something like this. We know that we have certain connections that your people might not be privy to, and we want to help you with that and with funding the organization and helping to get it off the ground. That's what we do at TFAC. We help fund organizations like yours. Now, we don't get involved in the operations of the organization and do not have a say so on anything that you do. We're here for support and to assist you in any way possible, Austin said. He was a tall, thin, brown eyed Caucasian male with short, dark brown hair. I like the sound of all of that, but what do you get out of it? Abaddon inquired, leaning forward. I'm not sure I follow, Austin said with a half smile on his face, looking around at everyone. I'm saying, you say you do all of this for different types of organizations that you are not directly involved in. So if you are not doing it to be a part of it, what exactly are you doing it for? Abaddon said. Abaddon asked. I see. We do it for the same reason you're doing this organization, helping those in harsh conditions who do not have the same connections or resources available to them as we do. We remain a private donator because we will be cut off from our communities. If people found out we are behind such powerful groups, then we will not have any resources or connections to give to groups like yours, Austin says, straightening his tie. I see. Well, we're thankful to all of you for coming and wanting to be a part of this. I understand where your group is coming from, and I respect it. But we must do what's necessary to survive, and sometimes it may not be ideal. So, to those of you who will be directly involved with the organization, our training and recruitment will be this Wednesday at the location listed on this flyer. Abaddon announced as he passed down the stack of flyers around the table. You can bring as many people as you like. We need all hands on deck, Abaddon said. They finished the meeting up and everyone exchanged contact information. As everyone was getting ready to leave, one of the TFAC members stopped Adara and pulled her to the side. I think it's awesome with all what you all are doing, and I want you to know that we stand behind it 100%. I wish we could be directly involved in it, but then we wouldn't be able to help, the lady said. I understand, and what you're doing does not go unnoticed. However, sometimes a silent partner is better than an active one, Adara replied, placing her hand on the lady's arm. Well, we wanted to give you this and let you know we're here, and we hear you, the lady said, handing Adara an envelope and headed out the door. Adara put the envelope in her bag and joined Abaddon and Amina in the truck. They discussed the meeting on the way to Adara's house. Everyone shared their thoughts on how they thought the meeting went. Abaddon dropped Amina off first and then Adara. When Adara got home, she cleaned up the house and cooked dinner for her siblings. She dropped them off earlier down at the community center. Adara set the table and waited for her siblings to come in. It was 6:45 and they had finally made it there. Y'all ready to eat? Adara asked, locking the door behind them. All of this for us? Shelby asked. Yes, it is. What's wrong? You are all acting like y'all never had a home cooked meal, Adara said jokingly as she walked to the table. She quickly noticed that no footsteps followed hers. What's wrong? You all don't like this type of food? I don't know what all of you like. I didn't know what all of you like, so I just cooked what I had, Adara said. It's not that. It's just Trinity tried to explain. We never had a cooked meal like this before, Marcus said, finishing Trinity words. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Come sit down, please, Adara said, taking a seat at the table. Her siblings joined her for a moment. There was an awkward silence in the room. It was so quiet that you could hear the floor squeak, the water dripping from the kitchen faucet, and people walking past the house. Everyone was eating in silence until Adara broke the silence. Look, I know we don't know each other, and this is hard on all of us, but we will get through it. I'm here for all of you, and you don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about not having a place to stay or food to eat as long as I'm alive, Adara assured them. That's what everyone says until Mom does something to mess it up, Marcus said, slumping down in his chair. Well, I'm not everyone. I'm your sister, and you might not know me, but I'm not going to let you go without, Adara said. After that, they all smiled and finished eating dinner. After her siblings were asleep, Adara sat down to do some planning for the organization. She reached in her bag to grab her notebook, and a white envelope fell out. Oh, I forgot about this, Adara said while opening the envelope from the TFAC organization. It was a letter with something attached to the back of it, and it read, Hey, we here at TFAC are happy to be a part of this movement. We want you to know that we support you all the way and we will assist you in any way possible. Here at TFAC, we are a silent but very supportive partner. So, for various reasons, nobody can know about our connections to your organization. If anybody found out, it will not only ruin your organization but others that we support. So, there are specific rules we must follow to keep this organization going. Nobody from your organization should know about any donations we make or any resources we provide other than anybody we have met. For those who do know about us, please make sure they keep quiet. Only you can contact us and nobody else unless if something was to happen to you. We will never meet again, and if you need something from us, you are to contact us only by mail at the location listed. Please do not address us in Please do not address us in any of the letters. Just tell us what you need and speak in code as much as possible, as much as you can, and we will find a way to get it to you. Attached to this letter is our first donation. It should be enough to get everything started. Please destroy this letter and never mention us to anybody. Until next time, keep fighting. Adara flipped the letter over and found a check written out to her for $20,000. Oh my gosh, Adara yelled out. This is more than enough to get this organization off the ground. Thank you, Abba. Now we can get a building and get all the legal work finished, Adara said, reaching for her phone. She sends a group message to Amina and Abaddon. Hey, let's meet up in the morning at 8:30 at the building we were looking at on Matthew Street. I'm on the realtor website right now scheduling an appointment. Let me know if you all can make it. Abaddon and Amina both text back agreeing to meet Adara there. Buzz, buzz, a Midtown Hospital. She must be she must be getting released, Adara said before answering the phone. Hello, Adara said. Hello, is this Adara? A lady asked. Yes, this is Adara. Are you calling about Mary? Adara said. She still hadn't gotten used to calling her mom's name. No, I'm sorry. This is Terry Jones. I'm the mother of Sean Jones, the 10-year-old boy who was shot by the police. Miss Jones said. Adara sat up on the couch. Yes, ma'am. I know who you are. How can I help you? Adara asked. Well, as you know, my son is still in critical condition, and I know the doctors are doing all they can to help him. However, since this has happened, I have had to take time off my job to be here by his side. Now my job has fired me and I cannot get anybody to help me fight this. I got two other kids to look after and I don't know what I would do. Nobody, and I mean not one person, would help me. I got your information from my coworker's son who said he went to a meeting you held recently and that you mentioned my son, Miss Jones said. Yes, ma'am, I did, and I'm glad you called. But listen, Miss Jones, when I tell you we got you, I mean it. I'm going to do everything I can to help you. Just focus on your son and your children and let us take care of the rest. I have a meeting tomorrow morning, but I can meet you around noon at the hospital to discuss this further if that's okay, Adar offered. Oh, God bless you, sweetie. I would love that, Miss Jones said. No problem. I will see you tomorrow. Don't you worry about a thing. Adara hung up the phone. She sends a group text to all members and posts to all social media accounts. It's time to make some noise. No more sitting around waiting for others to take the initiative. It's time to put our war clothes on and prepare for war. Come prepared for our training and recruitment event Wednesday. Tell everyone you know that black politics is about to shake things up. See you then. Hashtag justice for Sean with the Black Power Fist. The end of chapter 3.